What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Breakaway Podcast. I'm your host, John Root, and this is the Breakaway Breakdown. 5 stories you need to know this week in the crazy world of sports. So there was some major news that dropped from the New York Post. Said sources are telling them that Fox is going to be picking up Tom Brady after he retires. He's going to be the number one in the booth. And then there was a tweet that came out from Fox Sports, and it said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him."
I mean, number one in the booth, yeah, but when's that going to be? 2030? When's this man retiring? Now, I have to imagine this means the end is near.
Which is crazy to me because you feel like he would just be playing forever, but he's got to stop. And it's silly to me that all these news sources are like, does Tom Brady not want to be at home with the kids and the wife? It seems like if we have something like this happen, he doesn't want to be with them. But the crazy stat about this is he's going to be paid 375 million buckaroos for 10 years in the booth. Guess how much he made during his playing career so far?
I mean, I know.
All right, well, it's an educated guess then.
I'm going to go with $302 million. You're just throwing it out there, John.
Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. So in 22 NFL seasons, he's made just over $300 million, but he's about to get paid from Fox. But I think this is a fantastic move from Fox because they're like, well, Joe Buck's gone. Troy Aikman's gone. What are you guys going to do? There's the Tony Romos out there. Everybody loves the Manning cast. So what's the other white whale? Tom Brady. I think he's going to have to work on his craft a little bit, but he's going to be fantastic in the booth. And if he puts in half the effort that he does on the field off in the broadcasting booth, dude's going to be a legend.
Well, and there's no way this deal is just about broadcasting because Tony Romo, remember a couple years ago, he got that $17 million a year contract, and everyone was like, this guy's making wide receiver money in the booth. But now Tom Brady's going to be making $37 million a year. This, to me, I think it's way more than just broadcasting. I bet he's going to have a Fox Sports show.
No doubt, because that's what these places are doing now. Manningcast worked great.
Yep.
They're looking for these guys to give a breakdown and analysis of everything. Fantastic. Tom Brady, he's a legend on the field, going to be a legend in the booth.
Breakaway Breakdown.
We all know about NBA on Christmas. You got the biggest matchups in the entire league, but the NFL says, you know what? We're maybe thinking about not just one game, a triple header coming up this next year. I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving here, Brian. This is great.
Oh, I can't imagine anything I'd want more for my Christmas than NFL games that matter. And that's why they're going to knock out the NBA. Because NBA in December, nobody cares. It doesn't matter about anything. So that's why they have to put the best teams playing each other. Because otherwise nobody would watch.
But right now we know for sure for NFL on Christmas, you're going to have the defending champions, LA Rams, against the brand new Russell Wilson-led Broncos. That's going to be an amazing matchup. They say that's going to be 4:30 Eastern on Christmas with CBS, Nickelodeon, and Paramount Plus broadcasting that holiday special. Nickelodeon's fun too. That's another aspect too. They're hitting this specific demographic, and you start using Gronk a little bit more and get him in the broadcast or something. That's a good time. But there's other potential matchups. But with the NBA, you're not always going to have this Cavs-Warriors kind of situation. They had that for years, and they were able to milk it. And then now the NFL is like, it's our time. But these other two games, so it sounds like there's reports that maybe the early game could be Eagles-Cowboys. That'd be a fun little matchup.
I hate that. The Cowboys already have Thanksgiving. Don't give them Christmas.
But people, they're America's team. People tune into the Cowboys.
They do.
They like the Cowboys. And then the Eagles, shout out to Vince Papale, see if he can come back and return some kicks for that game. And then they're maybe thinking the late game could be Packers-Bucks. I think that would be great. You got two legendary quarterbacks. You got the back-to-back MVP, and the Packers had a fairly good draft. And then you got Tom Brady, who we know is going to get paid in the broadcasting booth. Just have a good Christmas game, have a good season, and then go make your money, and that is going to be Christmas. We'll see.
What I don't like about that is just, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, and in all of those games, I don't foresee any snow. It looks like it would be at home in Arlington, in Texas, at home in Buccaneers, and probably at home for the LA Rams. That's not Christmas.
Must-see TV, I think, would be Bills-Chiefs. Give me that, baby.
Give me a snow game.
Yes, I would love to see that. But that's a breakaway breakdown of NFL on Christmas Day 2022. Just in case you were wondering, who's the most valuable franchise in the NFL? It's the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. You might hate their fans, but my goodness, they know what they're doing business-wise. And it seems like how Dallas is growing like crazy. Their mayor sent out a tweet and they said, you know what, NFL on CBS, I'm going to quote tweet this and I'm going to say the answer is Dallas when asked if there's a new NFL expansion team, where should it go? He said, we're about to pass the Chicago metro area and become the number 3 metro in the U.S., which would make us the largest U.S. metro without 2 NFL teams. Football is king here. Dallas needs an expansion team, and we would be able to sustain 2 NFL teams better than LA and NY. I couldn't agree with him anymore, Brian, because Dallas, I went there for the first time and got to see AT&T Stadium. That place is bumping every single time, and people love their football in Texas. There's no doubt that they would kill it with 2 teams.
Yeah, no, see, I hate it. I'm on the opposite side. You're
wrong. No.
You know, you're wrong, and I hate you. No, look, New York's had 2 teams for forever. LA, they're just nomad teams anyways. They keep popping in and out. Dallas is the Dallas Cowboys. That's why it just doesn't make sense to put another one in Dallas. Put more in Texas, sure. San Antonio, give them a team. Austin, give them a team. We can go and give more NFL franchises to the Texas, overall space without having to encroach on the Dallas Cowboys. I don't like it. The Dallas mayor's wrong, in my opinion.
I think they're going to make it happen. I think there's no reason why there's so much money there. And I think you have a couple teams right by each other. They're not going to use the same stadium. So that's one thing that I think might hurt them is I don't like teams that use the same stadium, but SoFi I think works out fairly well. And who knows? It could be in like the Dallas metro area. So which is
big.
So in general, I mean, Dallas Cowboys Stadium is not in like Dallas, it's in Arlington.
Just put it in Austin. Like Austin's fairly close and it's been exploding over the last few years anyways. Like I just don't get the need to put 2 in one city when there are other markets that would like still feed off of the Dallas fan base anyways. I don't know. I think the mayor is just greedy. And then, also how much would these Dallas people be paying probably to build another stadium? Billions.
I think you ask Dallas citizens, they'd be like, more football? I'll send anything out there.
I'd like to see a poll.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, but that's a breakaway breakdown of Dallas wanting 2 NFL teams.
Breakaway breakdown.
Kentucky Derby. You see the big hats. It's a big-time spectacle. Where are you going to put your money? If you're like a billionaire, Mattress Mac, you didn't put it on the winner, but most people did not put their money on Rich Strike. 80-1 odds to win the Kentucky Derby. So the question is this the greatest upset in sports history? I say no. I think it's definitely up there. I don't even think it's the greatest upset in Kentucky Derby history.
Wow, okay, that surprised me because I would say it's the biggest upset in Kentucky Derby history, but I agree with you, not the biggest upset in sports.
Not the biggest upset in sports, but this is the biggest upset since 1913 in the Kentucky Derby.
So went deep.
Yeah, when I was a youngin'. But, I mean, I feel like people can either break this down like, totally historically, but probably in the modern era, this is one of the greatest upsets ever. And one of the best upsets I think we have ever seen, no doubt. But where do you think you put this on the upper echelon?
I mean, top 10, absolutely. Just from a Vegas odds perspective, it has to be in top 10. 80-1 is just crazy numbers to do. Plus, Rich Strike, love it, wins and then starts fighting other horses. All about it.
It got bought for like $30,000 last year.
Yeah,
like this was just like, I guess I'll buy a horse. And then they just go and win the Kentucky Derby. Nobody bet on Rich Strike. It was an amazing story.
Yeah, it's like you can buy the Kentucky Derby winner for $30,000 or like a Nissan Altima, But who is your biggest upset in sports history? I wonder if we have the same.
I feel like there's been great comebacks. But like biggest upsets, 100%. Do you believe in miracles?
Miracle on Ice. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Miracle on Ice is 100% the greatest upset in sports history. You got a bunch of college jamokes, basically. You'd see them compared to the USSR. And there was so much patriotism behind that. You can make a Rich Strike movie, and I think it could do well, but it's not going to be Miracle. It doesn't. It's Rich Strike. Congratulations to the whole team. But biggest upset of all time? Nah.
I'm with you. Miracle on Ice.
And that's the breakaway breakdown of Rich Strike. Is that the biggest upset in sports history? Clearly, no. All right, let's go back in time a little bit. Let's go to 2016 when the NBA decided, you know what, Charlotte, you cannot have the NBA All-Star Game because you got a transgender bathroom bill that just said if you are biologically male, and that is on your birth certificate and on your driver's license, you go to the men's restroom. Same thing for females. And they made a whole commotion about this whole thing. And then now there's reports that the NBA is going to be playing next season some preseason games in the United Emirates where it is punishable by death to be gay. And if this is not something that's blown up in sports media, it shows the hypocrisy and it shows how the NBA pretends to care about real American values. But when it comes to overseas, they're going to bow down when it comes to money.
Yeah, I mean, now that Enes Kanter isn't an NBA player anymore, do you think we see any NBA players even address this, even talk about it?
Of course not, because it's got to fit in a specific narrative. And you might be like, oh, this is just a conservative sports podcast that just talks about right-wing stuff. Like, no, this is a human rights issue. Like, if you really care about human beings, you would not bow down for money. Adam Silver just wants the gold, baby. You see what they do with China. They're doing the same thing with the United Emirates here. And if you are going to just chant in our face and say that you guys are champions for fairness, equality, diversity, all this nonsense, and then you're going to go and promote a place where it is punishable by death to be gay? Come on, man.
Yeah, listen to this. It's in the UAE, those found guilty of being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender face hefty fines and forced mental health treatment at best, life in prison, chemical castration, floggings, and yes, execution at worst. That is the definition of human rights violations, not making it to where, transgender people just need to go into the bathroom of their assigned sex at birth. Like, that is nothing compared to chemical castration and death, life in prison. It's all about that money.
It's all about money. The NBA does not care about real values. They just want to get that paycheck, and this is disgusting. If you're not talking up, if the sports media is not talking up, the NBA is a woke joke. And that's the breakaway breakdown of the NBA playing in a place where you will die if you're gay.
Breakaway breakdown.
There you have it. That's the breakaway breakdown, the 5 stories you need to know this week in the crazy world of sports. If you think we're way off, put that in the comments below. If you think we're spot on, which of course we always are, put that in the comments as well. If you're not subscribed already on YouTube, press subscribe, press the bell. And if you're listening right now on podcast format, make sure you subscribe, 5-star review. We're on Apple and Spotify. And if things get too spicy, we're going to move on over to Rumble. But this is Breakaway, non-woke sports talk and conversation that you love every single week. Catch you next time.